He is the strongest hunter. Even after the blast, he is fine. As he looks around, a dart hits him, and Klevin feels weak, not knowing where the spiders came from. His body was covered in spiders, and then something worse happened. Thousands of spiders came pouring down from above, rushing at him like rain. This scene reminded him of a childhood nightmare. Why was it suddenly happening here? He searched frantically for the problem, and found the poison dart in his waist. Pulling it out made the spiders disappear. It was all just a hallucination. Suddenly, a man stepped out of the shadows, and Klevin angrily lunged at him, but he missed and hit only air. The next second, the man was behind him, shooting 2 more darts. As the poison entered his bones, Klevin's body stiffened, completely becoming the opponent's plaything. After being beaten, Klevin seized the chance to slam the man to the ground. He raised his fist and unleashed a flurry of punches. As he continued, the man turned into a tree trunk, just as Klevin realized it. The man snuck up behind him and kicked him away. The legendary hunter didn't seem so great after all. The man aimed a gun at Klevin's head, ready to send him to the afterlife, but he had a lot of bad habits.
The movie begins with Sergei Kravinov, who will later be known as Kraven the Hunter, orchestrating a daring escape from a Russian penal colony. Sergei has just completed a mission to eliminate a notorious criminal boss, Semyon Chorny, within the prison. As he makes his escape, we get glimpses of his extraordinary physical abilities and cunning. In the meantime, Sergei boards a plane, exchanging brief words with a co-worker. Then, the movie takes us back 16 years. We meet young Sergei and his half-brother Dmitry at boarding school St. Michael's, New York. Their father, Nikolai Kravinov, a ruthless crime lord, arrives to inform them of their mother's suicide. Nikolai takes the boys on a hunting trip to Tanzania, believing it will toughen them up. During the trip, we see the stark differences in how Nikolai treats his sons, favoring Sergei and belittling Dmitry. Now the focus shifts to Calypso, a young girl staying nearby with her grandmother, who teaches her about mystical cards and potions. Meanwhile, the hunting trip takes a tragic turn when Sergei is attacked by a legendary lion named Tsar. Sergei is mauled and appears to die from his injuries. In a pivotal moment, Calypso finds the gravely wounded Sergei and uses a mysterious potion given to her by her grandmother to save him. As Sergei is revived, we see hints that the potion has changed him in ways yet to be fully understood. Helicopters arrive, and Sergei is rushed to the hospital, his fate uncertain. The doctors announce his time of death as 6:51. But as the family watches, Sergei miraculously wakes up. Years later, a teenage Sergei confronts his father Nikolai about his criminal empire. We see the toxic relationship between father and son, with Nikolai trying to groom Sergei to take over the family business. Disgusted by his father's actions and feeling guilty about leaving Dmitry behind, Sergei makes the difficult decision to leave his family behind. After Sergei leaves his family, we see him honing his skills in the wilderness of Far Eastern Russia, developing a deep connection with nature and animals. Sergei discovers that the potion has enhanced his physical abilities, making him stronger, faster, and more attuned to his surroundings. At this point, it's clear that Sergei will become Kraven the Hunter. Soon after, Sergei fights a group of poachers and kills some of them. Simultaneously, we come back to the present, where Sergei is returning home after a covert mission. He's been operating under the radar, as usual. Upon arriving, Sergei receives a message on his phone. It's his brother Dmitry, impersonating their father's voice. "Sergei, this is your father. Come home. I miss you. I'm sorry for everything that's happened." Sergei is caught off guard, realizing it's actually his brother reaching out. The next morning, poachers enter the forest, and Sergei witnesses the brutal killing of buffalo for their horns. Anger surges through him as he watches the animals being slaughtered for profit. The confrontation escalates quickly. Sergei, fueled by a primal rage, kills the poachers, protecting the animals and asserting his dominance over this wild world. However, one of the poachers escapes. Soon after, Sergei tracks down the poacher, Andrei, in London, where he uncovers a criminal network involved in trafficking drugs, weapons, and animals. Sergei begins to systematically take down the criminals on his list, starting with Andrei, using his enhanced powers and sharp mind to eliminate anyone who stands in his way. Next, we see Kraven cross paths with Calypso again, now an attorney in London. Recognizing each other from their childhood encounter, they form an unlikely alliance. Kraven proposes a partnership to fight crime and corruption, with Calypso using her legal expertise to identify targets and Kraven eliminating them. Enter a new twist. We are introduced to Alexei Sitsevich, a man suffering from a chronic illness, who undergoes a radical transformation to become the Rhino. Through a series of experimental treatments, Alexei gains incredible strength and an indestructible rhinoceros-like hide. Alexei's rise in the criminal underworld, taking over territories and establishing himself as a formidable new player, puts him on a collision course with Kraven the Hunter, as he is now on the list. In the meantime, Sergei returns to London for Dmitri's birthday, revealing the complex dynamics between the brothers. We see Dmitri's struggles with their father Nikolai and his own place in the family. The reunion is tense, with unresolved feelings and secrets threatening to surface. The next morning, Rhino's gang, acting on information about Kraven's true identity, kidnaps Dmitri. As Sergei discovers his brother's disappearance and begins his hunt, we see Kraven's skills in action as he tracks the kidnappers, while also dealing with the emotional turmoil of having put his brother in danger. The scene ends with Sergei reaching out to Calypso for help, setting up the next phase of the hunt. Moving on, Kraven and Calypso work together to locate Dmitri, using both Sergei's tracking skills and Calypso's connections. However, their investigation leads them into a trap set by the Rhino. This is where things start to get interesting as Kraven uses all his skills to survive the ambush. We also get glimpses of Dmitri's captivity and his interactions with the Rhino, who wants Dmitri to become his partner. Meanwhile, the Foreigner, a mysterious and highly skilled assassin, becomes obsessed with hunting Kraven. We learn about the Foreigner's background and his vendetta against Kraven for killing his mentor. The Foreigner allies himself with the Rhino, seeing an opportunity to finally confront Kraven. As the plot thickens, we see the Foreigner and Rhino on their way to confront Sergei, also known as Kraven the Hunter. Rhino is intrigued by the powerful weapon the Foreigner possesses, a poison developed by MY6 that can paralyze and kill its target in a gruesome way. Meanwhile, Sergei receives a call from his brother Dmitri, who has been forced to make the call. Rhino reveals that Dmitri is alive, much to Sergei's relief. Rhino then presents Sergei with two options: join him and Dmitri as companions, or be killed. When Sergei refuses, Rhino declares that they will hunt the Hunter. Cut to the two sides preparing for an intense showdown. Kraven showcases his skills as the legendary Hunter, easily defeating his attackers. But just when it seems he has the upper hand, the Foreigner manages to poison Kraven with the deadly substance. As Kraven begins to experience his worst nightmares and loses motor functions, the Foreigner gloats over the now human Kraven. Just when it seems all is lost for Kraven, a new twist enters the scene. Calypso uses her family's secret knowledge again to revive him from the poison's effects. She explains that legends don't die and helps Kraven back to his feet. Without warning, the conflict escalates, with Rhino and his men being attacked by a herd of buffalo while they are going home, thinking that Kraven is already finished. In a shocking turn of events, Kraven manages to defeat Rhino, using his hunter's knowledge to take advantage of Rhino's weaknesses. Before long, the movie takes us to northern Russia, where Sergei confronts his father, Nikolai. It's revealed that Nikolai had orchestrated the entire situation, sending the recording that led Rhino to Sergei. Nikolai's ultimate goal was to secure his family's criminal empire, even at the cost of his own sons. Out of nowhere, Sergei makes the decision to leave his father, taking away the bullets from Nikolai's guns and leaving him to be killed by a bear. This moment sets the stage for the final act, where Sergei and Dmitri reunite, with Dmitri having undergone a dramatic transformation under the influence of a mysterious doctor. In the end, it becomes clear that Dmitri has not only gained a new sense of power and independence, but also the ability to change his appearance, making him a formidable adversary. As the story wraps up, Sergei is left with a letter from his father, accepting Sergei's true nature as a hunter, just like Nikolai himself.